Better tip the Wookiee bartenders 20%. No droids, bounty hunters, no Raylos, no Ray Nobodies. I am your scoundrel coordinator, your chaos coordinator, your Wookiee wrangler. I tolerate no bullshit. Anyway, I do have to remind you, SJWs and sequel trilogy fans are not welcome here, and people can bitch at me about that if they want and say I'm being mean. If the sequel trilogy had anything to do with Star Wars, I would say fine. It doesn't. Anyway, please remember to hit the like button because the more likes, the better it helps the algorithm. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the year in review. It is December 22nd, the first true full day of winter. Last night was the longest night of the year. Actually, my favorite day of the year. And then the night before Christmas Eve is too. I don't know why. I think it's the anticipation of what we could be doing and what, Christmas and everything. So, but let's, because I'm not going to be on a lot. Hey, Sandy, things are great. I'm not going to be on a lot throughout. I'll probably do Book of Boba Fett first episode, but I'm not going to be on a lot through the next week from like today on because tomorrow I have to get food for Christmas Eve. I'm dragging my husband over to the Target over here because there's a shirt I want and I don't have the money for it. And I'm looking for reindeer antlers for the dog. Who is right there? He's behind me. Anyway, so let's talk about the year in review. So a year ago, we were treated to Luke Skywalker coming back as normal Luke Skywalker. Okay, all right, so, and that really I went fandom wide and really made everybody of all stripes happy. I think sequel trilogy fans got a taste of what Star Wars should be and could be. And I think some of them got real upset because they saw the reaction of everybody else and they realized that Favreau and Filoni are serious about trying to get the ship righted. Sorry, but the Stoned Republic isn't going to work out on that. And Luke's arrival kind of totally overshadowed, not even sort of, it overshadowed the first offering from the High Republic, a book by Charles Soule, who every time I see him, my gaydar goes off, beep, 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 beep. Should we all feel sorry for him because should he have a parade? Maybe we should have a dinner for him in his honor. All right, I don't know. We can all decide. Put a 1 in the chat, okay? He wrote the book for the High Republic called Light of the Jedi. Okay. Not impressed. Don't really care. Could live without it. And no one bought it. Now, granted, they pretend people are buying it. They pretend being on the New York Times bestseller list means it's selling. It's not. That's editorial. It is not literal sales they're listing. Okay? You go to Amazon, those books aren't even in the top 1,000 ever. Okay? When I was looking for Heart of the Jedi, it got up as high as number 19 in the top 100 of Amazon. Okay? While nothing from the High Republic was there at all. Whoever posted that, created that little thing, for what was it, a month, made it their point very clear that no one likes what the story group is doing. But we'll get to that. Anyway, and people were feeling pretty good. We were mocking the High Republic, and going on and getting ready for, you know, Bad Batch. And suddenly, was it March? They go to on Deadline Hollywood posts that they got information from a source inside Lucasfilm that Gina Carano no longer worked or had not worked and would not work with Lucasfilm because she posted what shouldn't be a controversial meme, but when left-wing morons don't know history, don't know the analogy she was making because they're too fucking stupid, and B decided instead of actually understanding what she was trying to say, decided to say she was anti-Semitic. Hey Troy, it's all right. So my thing is this. I looked at that, I saw it, I understood it. I have studied and written papers on the Holocaust. I have talked to people who suffered through it, tattoos on their arms and the whole 9 yards. My father was a World War II veteran, United States Army Air Force, dropping bombs on the Germans with the 8th Air Force and the 9th Air Force towards the end of the war. I know a lot about World War II. I know a lot about the rise of fascism in Germany. Now, you would think somebody like me would be pissed off having actually gone to the places like Auschwitz, Buchenwald, Sachsenhausen, the Gestapo prison on number 8 Prince Albrechtstrasse. Okay? You ever want to go someplace spooky, go there. Go there and walk into the basement where all the cells were. You'll be running, screaming out the door. Okay? That's how creepy that is. Okay? It didn't bother me because I knew what she was saying. All right. These people have been programmed so hard to look at people just like them, thinking that they were on the right. And they're not. I mean, Adolf himself said we're socialists. They shit on the middle class and used the middle class. Joseph Goebbels used very Bolshevik terms when he talked about middle class people. Petit bourgeois. Okay. This is not something that I take lightly when I see a moron with a D in front of their names make a stupid statement. There was nothing anti-Semitic about what Gina said. There was nothing anti-Semitic about any of that. So my attitude is, I don't get it. But Kathleen Kennedy, obviously, because let me remind you guys that Kathy was the one that fired Gina, not Disney, not John Favreau. It was Kathy. All right. It was Kathy M. Kennedy that did it. Okay. So when we think about, I'm sitting at my dining room table again. When we think about what happened, that's what happened. And they used something because they knew the people that they were the people that they were signaling to were too dumb to realize that's not what that meme was about. Okay? I mean, you really have to be a historical jagoff to not know that the Nazis not only sent Jews to the camps, they sent gypsies, They sent socialists, fellow socialists, conservatives, Catholics, Lutherans, gays, and there were a lot of Nazis that were gay, by the way. Okay? Questions about Hermann Goering. I mean, when he gave himself up to the American army, his fingernails were painted red, and he was wearing makeup. Okay? Tranny Herman. Okay? Think about that. It They don't want you to know that. And there are a lot of people in Hollywood that use that moment in history to beat down people. Like Mel Gibson said something really fucking stupid. That was 20 years ago. Let it go. Surrender the fantasy. Okay, let it go. All right. They want to use that against him. And it's not because he's an Nazi or a fascist. He's nothing like that. He's more libertarian than I am, I would say. He's a devout Catholic. Okay? Who has the problem? They do. Okay. Gina asking those questions caused about Koof and other things and making statements about everybody should have the right to say what they want, which is, we're Americans, it's our God-given right, right? Yes, I look tired, I am. I had people over for dinner last night. Really tired. If basically reiterating who we are and what our rights are as Americans. But the people in the story group, and I mean, it just, when I remember looking at all the things that she said, they wanted her to do a meeting with all these people, and there were like 40 people from Lucasfilm, 40 who wanted to be in on a Zoom call so they could beat her up. Are they gonna do? Take her out and stone her to death? I mean, that's what that is a witch hunt. That is bullying. That is un-American. Okay. To me, I said this to an angry, fat, overweight lesbian who was bitching at me about me saying that the 80s were great, everybody got to do what they wanted to. And I was like, but we did. I mean, I knew one or two guys who were gay, okay, in school. They were both older no, one was older, a senior when I was a junior, and one was a junior when I was a senior. But everybody knew. You knew. I mean, basically, it's like this. If a guy's a twink in high school, it's obvious. Okay, it's really obvious, and it shouldn't bother anybody. It didn't bother us. Didn't play football, so what? Like to do art, plays, musicals, stuff like that, so what? Talked with a funny voice, so what? No one cared. But she's screaming about, I didn't get treated well and everything. It's like, maybe it was because you're a pain in the ass teenager or something. So she got mad at me. I'm like, well, fuck you, okay? No one came. My point was, I didn't care. No one at Central High School gave a fuck about that shit. This is just not who we were. Now they want parades. Okay, that's the problem. Now they are the ones that are bullying everybody else, including Gina, for not being what they say she is, basically. Okay, so they have to make it up. They have to create a false narrative around this woman. And I'm not a big fan of hers. I would have told her, you need to chillax with this. Okay? You need to not do this. And the reason is this. If you keep doing this, you are going to lose your job. Okay? Just, get off of Twitter. All right? You don't have the power right now in Hollywood to make these statements and get away with it. Hey, Senna Dave. So, you know, anyway, so she gets let go. Disney did not know that they were going to, bony ass Kathy was going to do that. Favreau went nuts. I do agree. I do believe that that story that Doomcock told, that Favreau was on the phone yelling at Chapek or Iger saying she can't do that to me. Of course she could. She was Bob Iger, out of the, because he's a brainiac, made her president of Lucasfilm. May she, go with God. And that crazy bitch, can't deal with people who don't agree with her. And I think, so part of this, I think, is probably Kathleen Kennedy saw the response of the fans. This good-looking woman who's not conventionally beautiful. I mean, she's not a supermodel. Goes in there and basically reignites interest in Star Wars. It wasn't Kennedy's Star Wars. It was Jon Favreau's Star Wars. And Gina is the one who is bringing the fans in. Okay, her and Grogu. So Kennedy, because this is Mean Girl stuff. This is Mean Girl stuff in the way that Sarah Jessica Parker did that clicky bullshit to Kim Cattrall. And and that's all that was. Okay, so we go, we get all this, Gina controversy going on. She goes on Ben Shapiro. My opinion, dumb idea. My opinion. Ben Shapiro, I remember him very well at Breitbart, was one of those guys that Andrew picked to work with him and to write for him. Smart kid, but I don't know if he's the right person to give her a vehicle to do the things she wants. I think it would have been a better idea for her to go into just regular indie stuff. Okay. She's a popular actress. People will want her. I know if Lee Scott had a role for her in a movie, he would give it to her. Okay. These are just the things that are going on. I think she did the wrong thing working with Shapiro. It's really hard for me to respect a little dude like that who goes on college campuses and beats up college students verbally. All right, I just, there's something not kosher about him and about that whole thing, but that's just whatever. But then we get, Cameron Pasha goes on Midnight's Edge and says, we are going to see something happen here. Bob Chapek is going to do something. A week or so, a couple weeks later, we get this it's Variety thing, a bunch of filmmakers bitching and moaning about Bob Chapek. And then it was Variety came out, I think, and did another one. But every once in a while, you could see that there was a method to all this. And then the Atlantic came out, basically said, without saying it, is that Kathy Kennedy no longer runs Star Wars, which basically says she really doesn't run Lucasfilm anymore. Now, the problem is this. Her name is still President of Lucasfilm, and her presence there is a bad marketing thing. It just makes everything look bad. She doesn't have to be the commander in chief to fuck things up. Okay, it doesn't. That's just the thing. So, so we get to the Atlantic, and then Bad Batch comes out, and it was okay. It was, it was interesting. Fennec Shand was in it, la la la. That was okay. And we go through the summer, no Star Wars, but a lot of interesting rumors about things going on. And Indiana Jones starts filming. Harrison Ford promptly hurts his shoulder. Week after it, he's walking around Mayfair with his arm in a sling. 2 weeks later, he's riding his very expensive Italian road bike without his arm in a sling. And if you've ever been to Mayfair in London, you know those streets are not forgiving. Not for a woman in high heels, trust me, I know this. And definitely not on a bicycle rider, okay? What's going on? So, and we get news later that they're going to try to Last Jedi and Han Solo, Indiana Jones. Doomcock posts that. I was like, maybe if it was half true, it's stupid. They won't do that. Harrison Ford won't let it happen. Few months later, Daily Mail picks up that rumor. And suddenly, Indiana Jones just doesn't get pushed back from its release date of next summer. It gets pushed back all the way to the summer after, a year. Okay, interestingly enough, then, we hear grumblings from Leslie Forehead about The Acolyte. And, there's grumblings that they're talking to this actress, which sounds like an if-then contract. If we make it, then you'll star. Okay, which never happens. If you are basically on hold with an if-then contract, you're screwed. Okay, they're not going to make it. And it appears that Rogue Squadron's done. Patty Jenkins walked away. Now, she also lost Cleopatra, apparently, but then they put Rogue Squadron back in the mix. It's like, no. Gotta understand, Star Wars has not had a feature film in 3, 4, 5 years. All right? They're literally back beyond where they were when George wanted to sell Lucasfilm. Okay? I had to scramble to get something together for a sequel trilogy. And then we get, through all this, Bob Iger's long goodbye. Just fucking leave already. Okay, just fucking go. All right? We also see Bob Chapek asserting himself with, Marvel being pushed back, Marvel movies being pushed back a couple months, the reshoots for Doctor Strange. But the stuff with Star Wars is where you can really see weird shit going on. And okay, so we're into December. Now, I had thought that they had gone on early break for Christmas, but they did not. The cinematographer for Indy 5 is Greek, and he just went home last week. Okay. The big 7-foot dude, Indy always has to fight a giant dude. I mean, like Wookiee-sized guy. And that guy was still filming. Okay. Weirdly, neither Kathleen Kennedy, who apparently was re-signed or got an extension, apparently, though Disney has never made it official out there, and it was leaked to a blog, an entertainment blog called Puck, to a guy I'd never heard of till now, named Matt Maloney, who wrote a scathing critique of Kennedy in her mismanagement of Star Wars. Then, at the end of it, it was like, oh yeah, by the way, did you hear she got a contract extension? And then gave her some backhanded compliments about being a great producer. What's going on? All right, so is she signed? Let's assume she is. How long is she going to stay? These are the things we need to ask ourselves. We don't necessarily have to listen to the people who are saying, she's not going to leave, she's getting ready. I have heard rumors of things not going well for her. Okay, now, only one. But it's interesting to note that all these pushbacks in her movies, things like that, kind of coincide with what that one rumor was. And weirdly enough, she's not on the set and hasn't been on the set of Indy 5. Nor has Frank Marshall, who is in LA talking about a documentary he made about Carole King and James Taylor. Did I tell you about this? When I was a little kid, my sisters would bring those albums out and absolutely torture me and my friends with that garbage. It's music to slit your wrists to. It's boring, drippy, just, ugh. Gag me with a fork, a knife, and a spoon. Anyway, so and that's presently what's going on. Now, let's talk about this. So, the one person on the Disney Board of Directors who disagreed vehemently with Bob Iger on a lot of stuff, who was on the Board of Directors the longest, Susan Arnold, is now going to be the chief, or the chairman of the board. No, not yet. I will take you out in a minute. We'll go for a walk. Okay? Dog. And it's very interesting to me looking at all this and going, this is interesting, but it looks to me that the reason why Bob Chapek got the job as CEO is because the investors wanted him there to fix what was broken. And with Susan Arnold being his backup, because she's the one that he has to answer to, she's straight out of she's Carlyle Group. For the people who want to cry about retail and financial people shouldn't be in charge, well, who else runs a company? Because Bob Iger did such a great job. We'll talk about that in a minute. It's very interesting to me watching how this plays out, because I do believe that she is there to A, protect Chapek, B, implement, is basically saving Lucasfilm and Disney, okay? All right? Because Disney is in financial straits, all due to the poor management of Bob Iger, okay? Who, is finally leaving, thank God. What else? So then we get this today. Christine McCarthy, who's the chief financial officer at Disney, got her contract renewed. If you don't think the financial people are in charge of Disney now, I can't help you. Oh, I'm going to talk about that too. There's something, I've heard there's something in that movie. I talked to Cameron Pasha, I talked to Troy. I'm going to have to see it for myself, but if it's true, uh, it's an Easter egg, a huge Easter egg. Okay. Um, Christine McCarthy is a financial person. Yeah. Hey, who's this? Hey, Chris. Um, and it just looks to me now that they're setting everything up so they can go in and do some things that'll help get Disney back to where it should be. Don't be surprised if you see them sell Fox. Okay? I wouldn't doubt it. They're not using it. I wouldn't doubt, I mean, I'm going to say this January 1st, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't going to be working at Disney. And I think they know it. Um, you know, when you've got, there's somebody wrote an article about the fact that the High Republic was better than Mandalorian. Of course, a lefty SJW narcissist is going to post that. Why? Luke Skywalker showed up. How dare that character, who's, by the way, is portrayed by one of the biggest lefty loudmouths in Hollywood, by the way. Mark, shut the fuck up about politics, please. But they don't care. White man bad. Okay. That's why. And the dipshit's probably a Raylo. Okay. They're terrified that they're going to see a rehabbed Han Solo. That they're going to see Leia the way she's supposed to be. A princess. Okay? What, you know, there are a lot of women out there who can say, I don't want to be on a pedestal, who are very happy, to be honest with you, when they get put on a pedestal by a man. Okay? There was a point at the end of A New Hope when you see Leia standing above Han and Luke. Okay? That is to tell you who she is in the pecking order. Okay? Demoting her to general and then insulting her with Leia Poppins and then this fucking Admiral Holdo shit. You know, I don't, you know, that shit has got to end. No more woke shit. Get fucking rid of those characters. Holdo, Tico, Finn, Poe, Ray, the 2x4, Kyle Ron, the Daddy Butcher. Okay? Get rid of all of them. We're done. We're done. Okay. Further, so apparently at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, now I'm going to have to see that movie and I didn't want to. I'm not a fan of these movies. I have to go see it just to see this. Maybe someone will get the scene and show it to me so I can just watch that part. Jon Favreau's in the movie, briefly. And apparently, according to Seaman, he's got a condo. And there's Lego Star Wars or something, whatever. No, this is in Peter Parker's place. There's a figure of Palpatine firing lightning bolts. First off, who'd have thought Peter Parker was a geek, was a geeky Star Wars fan? Secondly, what the hell is going on? Because apparently the shot lingers on it. Okay? Now, there are rumors out there that Favreau and Filoni want to create a multiverse. And they have the perfect way to do it. That's not what's going on here. That was a hint. Who is in the movie? Jon Favreau. Okay. Who's running Lucasfilm right now, for the most part? Jon Favreau. They've been wanting to create a multiverse for a long, long time. And it's now obvious that it might happen. What did Spider-Man No Way Home do? I guess it's achieved a multiverse and fixed a lot of the really bad stuff that went on in the previous movies no one liked. So, what are you doing? Kojak, you want to say hi? Anyway, so what is Palpatine doing? He's there with the blue lightning coming out of his hands. If you get after that tree, that's Daddy's tree. It basically, to me, tells me that it was a nod to Jon Favreau. It was a nod to Star Wars, because you got to remember, Disney owns a little bit of Spider-Man, and it might be a hint of what's to come. It's really weird that they would even have this on there, and yet there it is. Okay, so I'm going to have to see the context, but after asking Cameron a couple questions about it, that it appears that it's probably I'm not talking about Spider-Man. I'm talking about why the Emperor was sitting there in a movie he has nothing to do with. I'm talking about them setting a hint that they're setting up a multiverse for Star Wars. Now, scream and yell, rant and rave. I want to hear it all. Please do it. Okay, you're done. Here's the deal. If they set up a multiverse, then those if-then questions, if you took logic, any kind of logic and had to do proofs, you know what these are, then the weirdos can have Ray Blow and all the rest of that stuff and beat off to the 3 movies that they think are great. Meanwhile, Favreau and Filoni can shut off the spigots for all the garbage. And that can just be off in its own little place. And they can go ahead and fix what was broken. Okay, so yeah, it could have ended up like that. But this is the timeline we're working on now. Hey, Deborah. So I think the next few weeks are going to be interesting. In summation, I think that when Susan Arnold takes the oath and walks in as chairman of the board, that we're going to see a lot of changes at Disney. And it's very interesting to me how it might be shaping up. I really don't believe that Kathleen Kennedy is going to be there very much longer. That's my opinion. If she doesn't have anything to do, okay, now you got Leslie Headland begging for attention and begging, she's got a week. She's got a fucking week to get somebody to okay the Acolyte, which has already been pushed back from filming months. And here's the deal. If Disney delays a movie, they usually don't make it. All right. There's nothing on the slate. There aren't any feature films. The only thing we know for sure is we're getting the Book of Boba Fett. We're getting Bad Batch 2. We're getting Kenobi, Andor, and we're getting Ahsoka. Okay, that's it. That's all we know. I mean, though, that's official. Okay, everything else, and nothing that Kennedy has optioned, like the Children of Blood and Bone, is even remotely close to being developed into anything that anybody would ever want to see, because it's you know, basically a racist tome. Mandalorian 3 is already filming, and it's been filming, so and we've got fairly good rumors that Harrison Ford's going to be back in Star Wars, which is, thank God. They fix him, they fix Han, and they fix Leia, and erase the existence of Kyle Ron. Now, there'll be somebody will show up here and say, well, they can't do that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it'll cost them more money. No, it won't. How does it cost Disney more money not to, if they don't have that character around? All right? How? It doesn't cost them a penny. All right? All right, here's the deal. When you have somebody like that saying stupid shit like that, and it's stupid, just say they didn't make a dime on the sequel trilogy. All right? They're in the red. Disney, if you look at how much money that they invested in Lucasfilm, it's probably close to $10 billion. They've only made about 2 or 3 billion. Okay? They could have taken the 4.3 billion that they paid for Lucasfilm, put it in the bank, and they'd have the money they should have made. That they would have broke even. Okay? Without doing anything. All right? And my thing is to the people who are naysaying and everything, and I know most of them are narrow-minded and don't want to hear it and want to argue. I'm not going to watch that. I don't care. I think I saw a clip from it, and I was like, I mean, he just overrated punk. But let me finish. If they take everything and do the multiverse and have the Star Wars we know and love, it will make up for all the money they didn't earn. And to the people who don't want to believe or are the EU fanatics, give it a chance. Give it a fucking chance. Okay? Do not go on other people's channels and bitch about something if you haven't seen it. Real Star Wars fans like The Mandalorian. Okay? Why? It should be the question. You should at least be intellectually curious enough to go watch. Okay? Because even if they did do the precious EU, right down to even if they did it, you wouldn't be happy because you wouldn't get everything. Because there's no way you can adapt those very dense books into something for a 2-hour movie. All right, they would have to be very long, drawn out series on streaming, you know? So, in summation, I think what we're going to see, a lot of changes coming to Disney itself. And the people that call Bob Chapek, fine. I don't know what you want. I mean, basically a guy who doesn't seem woke at all is replacing the guy that did all this, that allowed this shit to happen. Okay? I want you to think about that every time you shit all over Bob Chapek. Okay? Do you really want somebody like Iger or Iger to come back? Do ya? And don't get all wishy-washy saying, no, but. No, there's no but. The people that invest money are now in charge. Okay? And they want money. That's why you're in the money game. Okay? Greed is good in this instance. Okay? So, in summation, I think we are going to see a lot of people gone. I think Bob Chapek is going to be let off his leash. And, I mean, this is going to be, a lot of heads are going to be rolling. Anyway, I got to go, because, yeah, I got to get going. I got to take the dog for a walk. So you guys all have a good day. Have a good afternoon. And I'll see you all around the galaxy. Okay? And like I said, I probably won't be doing a lot of stuff, videos, unless something goes on, or I might do a couple uploads, or maybe I'll go live tomorrow and talk about Christmas movies, because I promised to do that and I hadn't done it. I've been real busy though. Okay, so if you don't see me as much, it's just because, you know, hubby's got the week off next week, and I'll be probably going doing stuff with him. So anyway, I'll see you guys around the galaxy. Take care. And Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad, Bon Natale, God Yule, Happy Christmas, and, you know, have a great one. And I hope everybody gets what they wanted. All right, I'll see you around the galaxy. What I want is a Star Wars to look forward to again. See you guys around the galaxy.